here from Eclair Makery, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my llama wall hanging. This llama wall hanging, it is about an intermediate project, I would say, or an advanced beginner, just because you use some different crochet stitches as well as using the tapestry crochet technique with these different stitches that you have. I have a tutorial and video tutorial on my blog and on this channel for how to do tapestry crochet. That's a great way to learn so that you can make this pattern. But I will be also showing you how to do a little bit of it here in this video. But if you have no experience with tapestry crochet, definitely check out my beginner's guide to tapestry crochet. So in order to make this wall hanging, you are going to need a few different things. So you will need a main color of yarn to use as the background, a cream yarn for the llama, some yellow and purple as well as orange yarn if you want to use that for decorations on the llama, and then a tan for the muzzle and the ears, and some black yarn to sew on the eyes and the mouth onto your llama. All of these are worsted weight yarns. I've used mainly Hobby Lobby's Soft and Sleek yarn, which I absolutely love it. It worked up really well with this pattern. And then you will also need a 6mm crochet hook in order to meet the gauge for this pattern. So to start, we're going to just set aside all of these yarns except for the main color, which I used a mauve colored yarn. You can use any color. That's what's great with this pattern. It's super customizable to whatever you want it to be. And to start, we are going to be doing 35 chains on here. And you can follow along with if you have the paid pattern, I have a chart that shows you how to do all of the color changes and different stitches in the pattern. It's all color coded. So if you like following along with charts, definitely grab my ad-free PDF. It's super inexpensive and I think it's really helpful with learning how to do this. I will pull that up when we start doing the color changes on here, but for now we're going to just chain 35 to start. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, almost there, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and we're going to do one more, 36, because we are going to want to have a total of 35 stitches all the way across, and we are going to start by single crocheting all the way across, starting in this first chain, or the second chain from the hook. So just start doing single crochets all the way down there, and then I'll show you how to do the next row on here. So once you have your row of single crochets, it's time to start on the next row. Now, what I used for this pattern is I did the lemon peel stitch for the main color of the background. Now, if you've never done the lemon peel stitch, all it is doing alternating single crochets and double crochets all the way across your piece, which gives it a really cool texture as you work it up. And I really love how it contrasts with the bobble stitches that I used for the body of the llama. So I'll just show you guys how to do the lemon peel stitch. And you do 3 rows of lemon peel stitches before you start on the color changes. So we'll get that started by doing, so we're going to chain 1 and turn our piece that we had right here. Then we are going to start with a single crochet. So we'll single crochet 1 and then double crochet 1. then single crochet one, double crochet one, and you're going to just switch between these two stitches all the way across this row. And since we have an odd number, we will be ending with a single crochet, and then when you start the next row, you are going to use a double crochet as the first stitch. So you will chain 2 at the very end, and then you'll chain 2 before you turn, and then start the row with a double crochet. And in the pattern, it tells you which rows you're starting with what. So do this for 3 total rows, and then I'll show you how to change the colors in order to start making the llama on this wall hanging. So once you have your rows done, I had said that you do 3 rows of the lemon peel stitch, but you actually do 4 rows. You are going to end with the right side in the front that you just worked. And you'll start to see this like really pretty texture starting to form on your wall hanging. I really love the way that this texture turns out. And so now we're on the row where we are going to start to do the color changes. So for that, I've pulled up my chart that I've made of all of the stitches I've done on here. You'll see it almost looks like a checkerboard, because since we use the lemon peel stitch for pretty much all of this, I wanted to be able to have it show up in my stitch pattern. So the light purple is a single crochet, dark purple is a double crochet, and then on this part on the llama, the light gray is a single crochet and the white is a bobble stitch. So we are going to be on row 6 right here. And so row 6 starts out with a single crochet. So we'll go chain 1, turn, and then do a single crochet. And then we have, we're going to go like this, a double crochet, a single crochet, double crochet, and you'll see on the chart here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches before you start to do the color change. So we've got 4 stitches right here. We'll do a couple more repeats of this, and the written pattern also shows how to do this. It is just written out instead of being in a chart. So if you don't have a chart, you can still totally use that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then one more little set of these. And then on our last stitch, we are going to be switching colors. So I am going to get my cream yarn, and then since we are currently working on the wrong side, when we pull this yarn through, we are going to want to have it stay in the front here. So we are going to pull this yarn through and finish off this stitch just like that. And now we are officially working with our cream yarn. So the first stitch we do in the cream yarn is a single crochet, and you are going in tapestry crochet, what you do is you carry your yarn through your work as you are working with a different color. So we're going to single crochet around that yarn that we were using previously, and then in the next stitch we are going to do a bobble stitch. So if you've ever done a bobble stitch, it's super easy. You just do a couple different loops on here, and I have a video tutorial for this on my channel here. So if you have never done one of these, totally check it out. It will help you do this really quick and easy. And so once you have 6 loops on your hook, then you pull it through, and we're gonna then just repeat this a couple more times. So on the chart here, you'll see that you've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats of that single crochet and bobble, and then you're going to end this part on a single crochet before you switch back to the other color. So do all of your cream stitches that it says in the pattern to do, and then I'll show you how to switch back to the other color. And make sure as you're doing this that you are carrying this yarn by crocheting around it and keeping it in the front of your work so that you don't have any super long floats, but you don't want it to go on this side. You want it to stay on the back right here. And so once you get to the end of your little part with the cream yarn, the right side of your work will look like this with the cute little bobbles right there, and the wrong side, which is the one part we're working on right now, will look like this from the back. So on the last stitch in this part, it's a single crochet, and then we are going to switch back to the mauve colored yarn that we've carried all the way through here. So you can't even tell that I carried it through because we crocheted around it. And then we are going to finish the single crochet off by pulling the mauve yarn through those 2 loops. And then we are going to bring the mauve yarn to the very front of the piece. And then we are going to do a double crochet and just keep this white yarn here. And you don't have to carry the white yarn because we are going to be doing our cream stuff in the same exact spot all the way up the pattern. So you don't need to take it all the way to the edges. It won't show up really on your piece at all. So just finish off this row and then follow the rest of the chart till you get to row 19, and as you go, you'll be doing different rows of these bobbles here, and then once we get to row 19, then I will show you guys how to switch the yarn colors again to add the 3rd color, the tan yarn, to this wall hanging so we can finish this up. So when you get to row 19 on your graph, which is the row right here that has this light tan spot where the muzzle is going to be, we are going to be introducing in a 3rd color to our llama wall hanging. So on this piece right here, on my sample, I've worked up to the point where I am going to be switching colors to adding in this tan color. So you'll just do your normal row like you've done with these other bobbles and lemon peel stitch, and I've just gone up to 4 right here, but on the graph you go 5 stitches in and then we'll switch the color. So on the next stitch, which is a single crochet, I'm going to just do my single crochet and then switch colors like you normally do in Tapestry Crochet. We'll just be adding it like this, pulling it through to finish off that stitch. And this is on the wrong side, so you'll have some of the strands will be showing more on this side, and you'll want to make sure that your starting strand of yarn is hanging in the back here because you don't want it to go towards the front. So then what we're going to do is for this muzzle, we'll unravel some yarn, and then we are going to just work the normal lemon peel stitch into this design. So we've got our last cream stitch was in this bobble from the last row. So then we are going to do a single crochet in this next stitch. And make sure that this stays tight like this, and then you're going to want to carry these strands right here because we're going to be using those. So you can just crochet around those. So the next one will be a double crochet because we're just doing the lemon peel stitch for 5 stitches in the middle here, and just carrying the yarn colors as we go. You could also do, if you don't want it to show as much on the front, you could also just do intarsia crochet and just have one giant strand of yarn going across that way. And so we've got 4 of those in this tan. The next one will be a single crochet, and then we are going to switch back to the cream yarn. So just like that, finishing like that. And then we're going to leave this tan yarn right here. And I always just move my ball of yarn over. And then you just continue on the row like normal. So the next one will be a bobble stitch. So just do your normal bobble and just keep doing the row and switching like you normally do, but now you've got this third color, and this goes for just 4 rows here, and I just have my black marks on the muzzle just to show where I'll be adding those in later, but you won't be doing any stitches with that right now. So just keep doing the pattern, and then when you're done with this, you'll just do your normal bobble stitch rows that you've been doing so far. So once you have finished that last row of bobbles and lemon peel stitch before the ears, you'll see on here that the ears start after that row with they're light tan like the yarn that we used for the muzzle. So before you're going to do these bobble stitches right here, you're going to do the tan yarn. So in order to switch colors with that, I'm going to go back to the wrong side, which is the side that I was working from. And I am going to be doing 1 stitch over. So I ended right here with a single crochet, so the next one I'm going to do is a double crochet. And then I'm going to finish this stitch off by taking my tan yarn and pulling it through instead of using the pink yarn. So then I will bring the tan yarn to the front of the piece and then move the mauve yarn to the back. And then the next stitch is going to be a single crochet. And the ears are only 3 stitches across, so they're not that big. So you'll want to carry these other yarn colors as you work across. And so after that single crochet is a double crochet. And then you'll end it with a single crochet. And as you do that single crochet, you're going to switch to the white and then do your bobble stitches as you've been doing before in the previous rows until you get across to the other tan side where the ear is at. So move the tan yarn over and the white yarn to the front, white or cream, whatever color you're choosing. So then you'll do a bobble stitch and just do that till you get to the next spot with the tan yarn. So now you have this last bobble that you're going to be doing. So we're going to finish off this bobble. So do it in the next stitch. And this is your last row of bobble stitches that you're going to be having in this whole piece. And then you'll just be using the lemon peel stitch all the way across for the rest of this project and just switching between the tan yarn and the mauve yarn. So once you have all of your loops for the bobble stitch on your hook, you're going to take this tan yarn that you've been carrying over, you're going to pull it through just like that. Hopefully it doesn't catch like it did on mine. And then you're going to finish off this ear here. And so you can just leave this white yarn where it's at right now and just pull it so that it tightens. As you do these tan stitches, you're going to carry your mauve yarn. And so we'll do a double crochet here, and then this last one, which is a single crochet, you'll have your mauve yarn right here, and you'll crochet around that as a single crochet and end the stitch by pulling the mauve yarn through the loops on your hook. And then you're going to just keep doing the lemon peel stitch until you get to the end of the row, and then the next rows will include the lemon peel stitch and then just following the chart for the color changes for the ears on this piece. So just keep going until you finish the very end of this, and then I will show you guys how to add all the accents, including the eyes and the ears, or just the eyes and the flowers and the collar to this piece. So once you have finished doing the ears and the rest of the fur on the llama, and you do the 4 rows after the ears, your finished piece will look like this. And once you have it all done, you're going to want to trim your yarn, and I left a giant tail for sewing this onto the piece that will be holding it on the wall. So I'm going to be using a stick, but you can use anything that you want. But just leave a long tail like this. And so once we do this, then we are going to do the eyes and the mouth area on this. So I have some just black yarn from my yarn stash that I will be using. I'm gonna cut a piece about this length, and then I can use this for multiple things on here. You'll want to take a yarn needle and you're gonna just thread it like this, and then make a knot with it on the very end so that it doesn't come undone. So I do about 5 loops before I pull it through, just like this. And then I'm going to position my eyes on the corners of the muzzle. And my eyes, I'm going to be doing them as little lines that curve and go upwards so that it looks like it is smiling. So in order to do that, we're going to just come behind our piece right here, and I am going to have my yarn start going through on the edge of this bobble on the right around this area. So pull it through, oops. And sometimes it'll come through like that, so you'll just want to find a spot where it won't come through and put the yarn through that. And sometimes just not pulling it a certain way will do it. And then you'll put your yarn down and then go over to create the top of the curved line. Just like this. And then up and down like so. So you'll see you'll have this little curved line right here. So once you have the eyes all done on here, it's time to make the mouth. So we are going to cut a length of thread or black yarn. I'm using black yarn for this one. Take your yarn needle, do the same thing that we did with the eyes and the way we thread it. So then make your knot at the end of this. Pull it through. Okay, and then the way that this is made is I will be making a V right here, a line down, and then another V at the bottom. So to start, I will do a V around the center top of this, about 1 or 2 rows down. Go like this to make that first line of V, come to the bottom of the V right here, and then make the second line of the V. And we're going to go up from the bottom here, and then go down. And then we'll come from one of the sides over here, go down like that, come from another side over here, and then go down like so in order to get the other line on the other side. And then now your llama will have its cute little face. And so we are going, you'll just fasten this off so that this stays secure. And then you're going to actually set this aside, because what I'm going to be showing you how to do is making flowers that are going to be going on the top part up here. And so you will set this aside, and then I will show you how to make this purple one. This is one of the bigger ones that you'll do. So just get a worsted weight yarn and a size 6mm hook. And we're going to start by doing some chains. And so the flowers of this, they are formed using shell stitches. So shell stitches are done in multiples of 4. So we're going to do a multiple of 4 plus 2 because we are going to be doing it in this first chain row. And we are going to be starting in the second chain from the hook and then doing 1 single crochet to start. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 chains right here, and we're going to go up to 26 chains. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And so then we are going to start in the second chain from the hook, do a single crochet in that chain. Then you're going to skip one of the chains and we are going to do 5 double crochets in the chain after that. And this is going to form the first shell. Just like this. That's 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to skip one chain and then single crochet in the chain after that. And then you're just going to be doing this all the way down this line of chains, repeating the same thing of skipping one, double crochet 5 in the same stitch, then skip one again, and single crochet till you get to the very end of this row of chain stitches. So just do that till you get to the very end. So once you get to the very end of your row of chains, you'll have a nice little piece that looks like this, and it will curl in on its own because of the way that we crocheted this. So in order to make this flower secure and to be a flower, we're going to just curl it in, wrapping it like this, and then we are going to thread this longer end of the yarn through our little needle, and so you'll get it to the position that you want it to be, just like this. And then you are going to come on the bottom part and we are going to go through each of the layers on here and then out through the other side and then do the same thing again. And this will help the flower stay secure when you sew it onto your llama. Now I did a couple other flowers which I need to sew together, but I did one in yellow and then I made a mini one in orange. And in order to make the mini one, I just did 18 chain stitches instead of 26. And then I did the same thing that I did on here, except I did 5 single crochets instead of 5 double crochets in one stitch. So that just makes it a little bit smaller, and then when you put it on the llama, it gives it a couple different sizes of flowers to put on here. So I'm going to be positioning my flowers up on the top, but if you want to put them on the neck or somewhere else on here, you totally can. This pattern is easily adaptable to whatever you want, and I'm going to probably have my arrangement be like this on the llama. And I will just secure these, and then I'm going to show you how to do the neckline part. And I'll just show you how to secure this purple one first before I do these other ones. And you're just going to be doing kind of a similar thing to what you did to secure this, but you're just going to go through and just sew on the flower like this, just coming from the back, going up and then down. And you don't need to do too many because it's a wall hanging, so they won't come off because they are not going to be moved. And then you'll just fasten this off like this. And then just put this yarn back through here in order to finish it off. And then you'll have your first little flower sewn on, and you can just arrange it however you like and weave in this yarn piece in the very back, and then do the same with the other flowers and whatever colors that you make, and then sew them on there as well. So now I have sewn on all of my little flowers on top of my llama, and I haven't weaved in these ends, but you can just pull them through to the other side and weave them in on the back. And with those done, now we are going to be creating a little collar to go right here on our llama. So to do that, you pick 2 colors of the yarn that you used for your flowers, and you are going to be holding 2 strands together. So you want to pick 2 colors that kind of coordinate together. I chose to do the yellow and the orange because I like the way it goes with all the colors on here. Then you're going to make a slip knot with these two yarns together. And then we are going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are going to be going to this second stitch from the hook, and we are going to just use the yellow yarn for this part, and we are going to make a bobble stitch in this 4th chain, which is the second one from the hook. So then you just do this like so until you get the right amount of stitches. Then you're going to pull it through. So it's just a normal bobble stitch. Then we're going to take our orange yarn back here, and we are going to chain 3, and then this is going to lay on our llama like this. So it's going to be in a V shape with the bobble at the bottom. So we are going to be making that over and over. So once we have these 3, we're going to do another 3. These ones will be the ones that come down. And then we'll add 2 more so that we can do our bobble stitch. We'll go to the second chain from the hook and just use the orange this time to make our bobble like this. So it's really easy to just do this. You just chain a multiple of 8. You'll just chain 8 after you do a bobble and then do a bobble after that, starting in the second chain from the hook. And you'll do that till you get the right amount of loops on your hook, and then pull it through. And so now you'll have a second bobble, and we are going to just repeat this process just one more time. So we'll get our yellow yarn back to working with this. We'll chain 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then in the second chain from the hook, we're going to use the yellow yarn this time. So we will just yarn over, go to the second chain from the hook, and do our bobble stitch in this spot like so. And then once we have the right amount of loops on here, then we'll pull our yarn all the way through, and then we're going to take our orange yarn back, and we will do just 3 more chains, and then we will have this little collar all done. So we will just fasten this off, cut your yarn, and then fasten it off like this, pull it tight, and now you have your finished collar that will go on the llama. So when you position it, you'll have it be in these little V's so that it shows off the little collar right here, and then just position it in the spot that you want it to be, and then you will just sew this on to your llama. And if you want to do more of these on here, you totally can. This was just the amount that I decided to do. So I'm going to just stick with this, but you can do however many you want. So just sew this collar onto your llama, and then we will do the bottom fringe that is going to go on the llama. Once you have finished sewing on your collar and your flowers to your llama, it's time to add the edging to the bottom of your wall hanging. So what you will need is you'll need just pick a color of yarn that you used before. I decided to go with orange, and then we are going to start by slip stitching through the bottom left corner of the piece. So it's the left corner, you'll see here's on the left side, but we're just going to turn it around because we're going to work from this side. And then we are going to slip stitch through here, and then we will chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to skip 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we are going to slip stitch through that 6th stitch, like so. And then we're going to just repeat that whole same thing again. So 10 stitches, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Skip 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip stitch in that 6th stitch, and you will now, once I get this, you'll now have 2 of these little loops here created with these chains. So you'll just repeat the same thing all the way across the bottom of your wall hanging, and on the last loop you are going to need to skip 7 stitches, but that is totally okay. It'll still give the same exact look that you would get from skipping 6 stitches. So just do that, and then we'll go on to the next part of the wall hanging. Once you have finished crocheting all the way across to create these nice little loops, you will end up with 5 loops on here. And if you think that you're going to get 6 loops, then just skip 1 more stitch as you crochet these. But overall, even if you get more than 5 loops, it's still going to be really cute, and you'll just add 1 more tassel. So now that we have this done, we are going to add tassels to the bottom. So I have cut here about 7 strands of purple yarn, and I've cut them about 10 inches to a foot long so that I will have some nice tassels that dangle from the bottom here. And now when you go to attach the tassels, what you're going to do is you're going to form a U shape with this yarn that you have in your hand. You're going to come to one of these loops here. You're going to place your U shape in front of this, and then you're going to take these 2 strands on the bottom, go behind the orange loop, and put those ends through this curve that you have here on your wall hanging, and you're going to just pull it down just like that, and then you'll have a nice little tassel on there. So I'll show you that again with my yellow tassel that I have here. So we will do loop in the front, then take the 2 strands from the back, go behind and through this loop there, and pull down to tighten it. And so you'll have these 2 cute little tassels, and you can do the same all the way across with different colors of yarn that you are using. I ended up, I'm gonna do an orange one on here, and then repeat the same pattern with the yellow and the purple tassels on these other 2. But you can do as many or as few tassels as you want. This was just what I ended up deciding to do, and I think it looks super cute, but whatever you end up deciding to do will totally work. So now that we know how to do the tassels, once you get those done, then we are going to finish off our wall hanging by securing it to our stick that we are using to hang this on. So once we have our tassels done, we are now going to secure our wall hanging to the stick that we will be using to hang this on. So when I fastened off the wall hanging, when I finished the main part, I cut a super extra long strand of yarn when I fastened it off. So I didn't do just a normal piece where you weave in the ends. I just did a super long one so that I can use it to sew onto this. So I've threaded my needle, and then I'm going to position my stick where I want it to be on the wall hanging, and then I am going to hold it up against my wall hanging, take my needle. We're going to go around the back and go about 4 stitches over from the start of this row, and we're going to just pull this tight like so, so that then we have created a loop on the stick. So then we are going to just keep going around and behind all the way to the very end of the edge of this wall hanging, so that then it is secured here on the stick. So just keep going across, and you can have it as loose or as tight as you want. I'm doing it kind of loose, so I don't want to have too many loops show up here on the stick, because I got this stick, it's some driftwood that I found by the ocean, so I want to showcase that because I think it's really pretty with the rest of this piece. So we're almost to the edge, and then just one more loop through this very last stitch here. So now it is secured onto there. So then I'm going to poke my needle through the back of the wall hanging, tighten it a little bit, and then we will just fasten it off. Pull it closed, and then we can trim that later. So now your wall hanging is secure on this stick. And you could totally use, if you've got enough yarn left over, you could totally tie this on the other side over here in order to hang this. I wanted to use an orange strand of yarn, so what I'm going to do is loop this around here, tie a knot, probably double knot it just for safe, better safe than sorry. And then I'm going to come on this other side here and do the same exact thing, and there you go. You've got a nice little hanger for your wall hanging, and your wall hanging is all done. Isn't it so cute? I am so excited to see how yours turned out. I absolutely love how this llama pattern turned out, and be sure to share it on Instagram, tag me at eclairemakery, and leave a comment below if you've got a photo of your finished wall hanging. I'd love to see it. So share it in the comments below, share it on social media, and I would love to share it with everyone else. And I'm so excited about this pattern. You can find the free pattern available on my blog as a part of the Hello Summer blog hop. And you can also find it on Pinterest, on my Pinterest account. And be sure to hit the subscribe button below, and I can't wait to create more pattern tutorials for you. Have fun making your llama! Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it below if you enjoyed watching it, and hit the subscribe button if you never want to miss out a video from me, and also check out my other videos and tutorials on my channel. See you next time!